Hold on, y'all. I forgot to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. So I just gotta hit the button real quick. Pray nobody disturbs me. Okay, and then I need to flip my camera around. I don't know why it's flipped this way. Alright. So, hey, people, I am. Ooh, I look a mess. Jesus. Listen, I'm outside right now, and I'm laying on my blanket. So, you can't really. I'm gonna turn it around like this. So you can see, I'm outside. I tend to lay on my blanket. Let me just turn it around so y'all can. Hold on. Oh, sorry, that's my stuff. So this is my blanket, right? I tend to lay outside. I got my toes out. Let me turn it around so you can see my face. Okay. So before I lay and get into some work and maybe take a nap, because I definitely take naps outside. I don't care what y'all think. I need all my rest all the time. And it's beautiful. And I carry my thing with me at all times. So, for those of y'all don't know what my thing is, let me turn this. You see my thing? Yes, I carry my thing with me. Let me see. Okay. Alright, so none of that has nothing to do with nothing. I just thought I would start my conversation by showing y'all where I was at. So that way when the wind blows and it gets a little windy, you'll know why. Because I left my Bluetooth at home, which I never do. Okay, so I figured I would jump on before I got into my own thing, because I was having a conversation with somebody today. All most of my videos come from conversations with people, and he was in my inbox, and we were talking about his brand, right? So he has multiple streams of income, and he's working on building out his t-shirt line. And I asked him, well, he sent me some pictures, and I asked him, I said, well, who is your no, first thing he said, this is what was interesting to me. He said, I watch your videos. He said, you're real good at marketing. He said, you made me stop saying that he was a black-owned business. So naturally, I'm like, did I make you stop saying that? What is that? So I said, well, who are you, who is your clothing line geared towards? Oh, wait, I'm going to read it to you, because I want you to understand in detail. Listen, I don't got my stand so my phone so I can be hands-free, because I'm outside. So just bear with me, because I really want to read you who he said his line was for. Okay, so I'm gonna pull it up on my iPad, because this is the classic mistake that I see so many people, like countless people. Sorry, got my hair blowing. Okay. All right, so we're having this conversation about his brand, and he says, I'm only going to read you the parts that matter, because don't nobody want to be here all day. You get the point that I'm trying to make here, okay? Okay, so he says, I've been blessed. I got a multiple media business, doing blah, 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 multiple streams of income. You taught me to stop saying black-owned business. Well, first of all, I love black-owned businesses, right? And I'm a firm believer in saying black-owned business if you so choose. So it caught me off guard, right? So I'm wondering, what did I say on a video that made you think that was what you were supposed to be doing? Because he's black, okay? So I said, did I teach you that? How so? He says it was either posted on your page or a story or a video or something that I, read. And he talks about, soliciting my services, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so here's the part. I said, is your target audience not black people for your upcoming clothing line? So he says, read my statement. So this is what his statement says. This is who he's trying to target, and this is the mistake that I see. I don't want to read it because then, no, I'm gonna read it. Y'all don't know who he is, okay? So it says, people. This is who he's trying to target. This is how he answered my question of who is it that you're trying to target with your clothing line. He said, people of integrity that are money earners and networking. Yeah. We unselfishly support, empower, unify, encourage, support those who realize their purpose and strive to bring it to fruition. We are the tastemakers, the movers, and the shakers that know that our network is our net worth. You didn't answer my question. Okay? I said, who are you trying to target? Okay, now that gives me an idea of who you're trying to target, but it does not tell me who your market is. Okay, so I hope you're catching this. So I read it, and I said, is your primary audience black? He says no. Okay, first of all, you lying. I'm going to tell you how I know, okay? And I don't know him. I mean, I know him from years ago, but I don't know anything about his business. I don't know what he does, but I know his primary audience is black, and I can tell you why. So I say, who is your audience? Who are you trying to attract with your brand? And so he says those mentioned in the statement above. Those that either know the real power of money and networking, and those interested in learning all capitalists, movers, shakers, tastemakers, and the millions of wannabes. Did y'all catch that? So he says, does that make sense? I said, I get it, but I want to know, what does your audience look like? Tell me some of the demographics. So he says, it's the kid with the lemonade stand, the real estate agent, the real estate mogul, the investor. There's no specific look, right? If you're into making money and having connections to help you navigate, you're a part of my team. I want old ass men, all colors, backgrounds, wearing my clothing on the golf course while they're making big deals. Alright, so that's enough. I ain't gonna read the whole doggone thing. Okay? Here's my point. Okay? And this is the biggest challenge that I see people have as they're building their business, but particularly as they're building their business online. And I say online because, okay, that was a leaf, so it scared the life out of me. I thought it was a bug, and y'all was gonna be like, now why is she on here acting a plumb fool because of an ant? Because I will. That ant will just, it will, yeah. So, okay, so the biggest challenge that I see people making online is their audience is too broad, right? Like, if I don't know exactly who you're trying to target, when I ask you, right? If I ask you a direct question like, who is your audience? And you give me a statement that says movers, shakers, money makers, blah, blah, blah. I don't know who that is. And guess what? The people who reading that don't know exactly who that is. They might think they in that group of people, right? They might not, right? But here's the challenge as we dig deeper, right? Because movers, shakers, money makers, that's good. That's a good starting place. There's nothing wrong with wanting to impact or build a brand specifically for those people. The challenge, though, is that people have to see themselves in your messaging, right? Like, they have to see themselves in your messaging. And when your audience is so broad, you begin to lose people who are actually your ideal client. So when he says, I said, well, what does it look like? What is the demographic, right? When I say demographic, I'm talking about age, race, gender, income, marital status, etc., etc. That's what I mean by demographics, okay? And when you start saying the kid with the lemonade stand, the real estate investor, the this, I automatically disconnect when you start talking to somebody who isn't exactly where I'm at, right? So I used this example before. So as y'all come on, drop what kind of business you have or the brand that you're building? What is it that you do? Because I would love to use some real life examples as I'm going through this. Yeah, let me turn this way because my lighting is not great the other way. So when you go broad and you have essentially multiple avatars within one, right? Multiple people that you're trying to serve, then you lose clarity, okay? And the number one thing that you have to be when you're trying to attract people is clear, right? People have to be able to say, oh my God, that's me, right? Part of the reason why you watch my videos, other than I'm ridiculously authentic, the biggest piece is not because I'm authentic, it's because my content is good, right? My content is good because I know who it is that I'm targeting, right? I know where you're at. I know what you're struggling with, right? I know some of the things that you want. And so when we target a large group of people, or when we have multiple avatars, then we lose some of the momentum that we could have gained simply by focusing our attention on one person. So I'm gonna give you another example. Okay, I was working with somebody and she had double avatars. Okay, and one of them is, it's basically people who have a 9-to-5, right? And they either want to advance in their career, right? They're not thrilled about their job. They either want to move up or they want to get out the job altogether, because they also have a business, right? So they're 9-to-5 people who either are trying to build their business and get out, or they just want to move up the ladder because they're not happy, okay? So first of all, that's two different avatars. Why? Because the outcomes are different, right? How you're going to work with somebody who has a 9-to-5 and wants to be gone in a year is different than how you're going to work with somebody who has a 9-to-5 and doesn't want to start a business. They just want a promotion. They want a different job. Those are two different outcomes. So when I fit that description, so I don't have a 9-to-5, but when I did have a 9-to-5 and I listened to her messaging, I automatically disconnect when you start talking about moving up the career ladder. Why? Because that ain't my goal, right? Even though I actually am her avatar, but because she has two different avatars that she's trying to communicate with at the same time, she automatically loses me because I don't want to hear nothing about moving up no career chain, right? So the same thing with the guy that I'm telling you about in my inbox. The moment you start talking about the old white man, as well as the little kid on that has the lemonade stand, as well as the this and the, you lose me, right? Because I need to know that what you're offering is for me. That's how you get an emphatic yes, and that's the goal. The goal of building our brands online, or just building our brands period, is not to have to go back and forth with people. Either you want this t-shirt or you don't. Either you want this course or you don't. Either you want this mastermind. Whatever it is that you're offering, people need to know, they need to be able to see themselves directly in your brand. Okay? So one of the other things that he said in response to me going back and forth with him about getting clear about who he serves is, well, you know, McDonald's, they serve everybody from 8 to 80, bruh. So let me just be very clear, okay? Because this is, again, yet another challenge that people have. And if you don't get the market part right, if you don't understand who you are servicing, nothing else will work. Because every single thing that you do in your business flows from who you serve. What you offer flows from it. How you offer it flows from that. The price point, every single thing flows from who you serve. So you have to get clear on your market. Okay? So the thing that I want you all to understand, these big corporations, right? These big businesses that you're trying to model yourself off of, which is retarded, don't do that. Okay? They're in a completely different space than you are. Number one, 9 times out of 10, they did not start off trying to attract 5 different groups of people. They all have an avatar. McDonald's has an avatar. Walmart has an avatar. Target has an avatar, etc., etc. I love to use Amazon, okay? Because the thing that I want you guys to understand is, number one, when they first started, their focus was on one group. And even now, their focus is still on one group. The people who shop at Walmart are not typically the same people that shop at Target. At least not the loyal people, right? Like, I'm a Walmart shopper. I don't care. Call me whatever you want to call me. But I like deals, okay? Let me find out this is cheaper at Walmart. I'm in. Target feels uppity and bougie, and I don't want to do that. Okay. So I'm loyal to Walmart, meaning I go to Walmart every week for my groceries. Okay. I only go to Target if I see something that they got on sale that I really want, or somebody told me, oh, I saw such a. So, right. But because Walmart has a specific group of people, right? People who want cheap, inexpensive things go to Walmart. People who don't want that, they go to Target. And they built their brand or their base around who it is that they're trying to target, and they're okay with that. Now, that doesn't mean that rich people don't go to Walmart, right? Sure they do if they need a glass, if they need a jug of milk for their kids or something quick, but they're not spending their time if that's not who they're targeting. Let me be very clear. It's not that you won't hit other people, right? But you want to be able to attract your ideal client, your dream client. And in order for you to be able to do that, you got to get okay with singularly focusing on one group of people. Why? So when Amazon, it's either one group of people, one outcome, one product, one something, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be, I'm only going to serve black women between the ages of 12 and no. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying, that whoever it is that you're trying to target, whatever it is that whatever brand that you're trying to build, it needs to have a singular focus to it when you're earlier in your game. So if we use Amazon, for example, when they first started, they didn't sell all that shit they selling now, right? They sold books. Why? Because you got to get good at the one thing. Their whole brand was about books. What is your brand all about? That's the thing that you got to ask yourself. Who is it about? They were targeting a specific group of people, readers, right? Like they're targeting, because they have one product that they're selling, one type of product, many different books, obviously, but one type of product. So do not compare yourself to McDonald's. I mean, you could, because the truth is they're targeting one group of people too. Like in real life, they're all targeting a demographic. And then other people kind of trickle in from time to time, but that's not their main base. Okay, so I want you to understand that your responsibility, if you're trying to build a strong brand, is to narrow yourself. Get clear on who you serve before you start building out products and services and getting frustrated because you're not attracting the person you want to attract, or you're not able to convert them, or whatever happens that is frustrating you. Before you get to that place, it all stems from who it is that you serve. Okay? So your responsibility is to go from broad to specific. Because here's what happens when you do that. Well, let me tell you this. Okay, so a lot of people struggle with either niching themselves or finding their lane or picking the market. So one, start by looking at who you have a heart for, right? That's where most people stop, FYI. But it's a good place to start. Who do you have a heart for? That's going to give you an idea of who do you want to serve. That's why people have businesses around single moms, or they have businesses around kids, or they have businesses around black people, etc., etc. Whatever it is that you have a heart for, it's going to make it that much easier to do the work. Why? Because you love this demographic that you're trying to serve. Okay. So the second thing that I would say, in addition to focusing on who it is that you have a passion or a heart for, is who is no one else servicing. Okay. Because, and I know this is going to be like, well, everybody's being serviced. That's true, right? But some people are being serviced more than others, right? And some people are being serviced by the masses. So, for example, if we look at the coaching industry, there is a ton of people who serve coaches. Tons of them, right? The coaching industry is one of the growing rapid industries that at some point will crash. I don't know when that will be, but it will. It'll take its turn just like everything else. And so the coaching industry is super broad. It's like 1 million different coaches. Okay, so you got to think about who is the group of people who's not already being serviced, because what happens when you do that, then those people are naturally attracted to you because they ain't got nowhere else to go anyway. Nobody else is giving them what they need. Right? You have to be, that makes people raise their hand and be like, oh my God, I'm in, without you having to do as much work. Catch that. You will have to do more work to attract your ideal client when your ideal client has a broad market. Like if I said I wanted to serve coaches, period. Okay, well, I'm going to have a harder time attracting coaches. Why? Because everybody's a freaking coach. And guess what that means? Everybody's not going to see themselves in my messaging. Everybody is not going to be attracted to what it is that I do. So I have to get clearer. I have to get more laser focused, and so do you. Right? Start with the group that you're passionate about, and then figure out who's not servicing them. What do they still need? Your business is not, you've heard me say this a million times. Your business is not about what you do. Your business is about who you serve. Why? Because everything flows from who you serve. So I don't care if you need to pause on what it is that you're getting ready to launch. If you are too broad in your demographic, too broad in your market, you will struggle, right? Because your messaging is the thing that attracts your ideal client to you more than anything else. And in order for your messaging to work, it has to be pointed at a specific outcome or a specific group of people or a specific product or service. It doesn't just have to be, black women between blah, blah, blah. It could be we only service people who are trying to get to 10K in the next 90 days. That's a very specific outcome. You see what I'm saying? So think about a specific outcome, a specific demographic, or a specific product, not a broad product, right? And get a clear picture of who it is that you serve. I promise you that's the best thing that you can do for your brand as you're building, is understanding your market and carving out your specific lane. I hope that this will answer his questions. I told him that I was going to jump on and do a Facebook Live because I didn't want to go back and forth in the inbox trying to explain to him the most important piece of marketing. If you don't catch nothing else about marketing, if you don't catch nothing else about building your audience, is that broad will take you a lifetime. It'll impact your income. You'll never, I don't want to say you won't never make the money that you're looking for, because you could, but it takes a long time. Why? Because people can't see you in their messaging. So it's your responsibility to get clear. It's your responsibility to figure out who it is that you want to serve. And it doesn't mean that you have to only have one avatar for the rest of your life, or the rest of the life of your business, right? You can serve multiple groups of people, but you can't try to attract them in one messaging, right? That means you have to have multiple marketing campaigns or marketing materials, and that's too much when you're first starting. When you're in the first 2-3 years, maybe even the first 5 years of your business, you will halt your own progress by trying to build out a bunch of different stuff for a bunch of different people, instead of just saying, all right, for the next 6 months, here's who I'm targeting, here's who I want to serve, here's who I want to help, here's how I'm going to help them. So I hope this was helpful to you. In order for you to stand out in your market, in order for you to not feel like the market is oversaturated, that means you have to find your lane. You have to find who you help and how you help them, right, with your products and your services. Otherwise, the market will be crowded forever, because there's always going to be another coach, there's always going to be another t-shirt brand, there's always going to be another whatever it is that you do, and you will have to figure out how to become unique in order to survive. All right, I'm finna lay down and do a little bit of work, a little bit of reading. Peace.